Do you have a property that you want to rent out?
Do you want to maximize your rental profit from that property?
Well, you're in luck because we'll share with you 5 ways to increase your rental income.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to VC. My name is Vincent.
And I'm Chloe. Damn, I'm so excited for today's topics, yeah.
Is it? Because of money making.
Uh-huh.
More cash kan?
Increased cash flow.
Yep. So yeah, since we talk about the investment in the past few videos from this channel, we even talk about cash flow vs capital appreciation when it comes to investment. Today we will be talking about ways to increase your rental income.
If you haven't watched our video regarding on capital appreciation versus cash flow, do click the link up here just so you can understand more on what type of returns you are looking for.
Yeah, in the down description below as well. Yep, so let's jump into the topic. Firstly, you have a property that you want to rent out, right? Whether it is a property that you lived in before or it is a new property you bought solely just for investment. Some investors are in this property game simply for capital appreciation, which is flipping properties to earn capital growth of the property, while some investors are in the property game for rental business, which provide the cash flow as known as some passive income.
Yeah, so in our experience of working in real estate field, we do notice that property rental business gets more competitive every single year. You may say that some landlords are even losing their negotiating power when it comes to rental because there is just too much stock in the market. In this case, owners need to find other ways, looking at another perspective to win the tenants and increasing their rental incomes.
Yep. Firstly, the most basic one would be the owners usually furnish their units, dress up their unit, so people will pay a higher price to rent the place. We have actually came across a lot of owners who are lazy to furnish their unit. And remember the previous one we went on? It's like 10 years didn't even furnish at all. The aircon still using the big ass aircon.
Yeah, never mind lah. All tenants different taste ma. This tenant later say don't want this lah, don't want that lah. So 麻烦.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But if you come to think about it, if the more you wait, the more you pay for the monthly repayment without cash flow, it takes even longer for you to break even. Yeah, so there are tenants who love their own personal preference, but most of the tenants out there are looking for furnished units.
Wonder why? Let's say, imagine you're a tenant. You're moving out from your parents' place, finally wanting to be independent, living alone in the city, going to work. Would you be moving the whole house out? Your beds, your washing machine, your cabinet, your fridge? Most likely no, right? We rarely see that tenants moving out so much stuff into their new rental property because they want to save the hassle.
Yep, moving those furniture not only needs energy, but you need to pay for the manforce and a truck to move all of the heavy furniture and electronics to your new place. So most of the tenants are usually just move in with some basic items, and it's quite unlikely for some tenants to buy this big furniture just to furnish a house since not their property, right? Why should I buy all of the things? It will be extra cost for them. And just for your information, furnished units are usually in more demands than unfurnished properties.
Furnishing your unit definitely increases your rental income. Not just that, but you prevent all furnitures from scratching your floors due to the frequent moving. The second tip that we would like to share is renovate wisely and furnish tastefully. Of course, again, if any owner wants to rent out their property with a higher price, they need to ensure that the unit looks new and refurbished. However, not all renovations can bring in money. Only with the right and necessary renovations will raise the rental incomes.
For example, when renovating the unit, try not to spend unnecessarily interior design. Focus more on essential renovation that provides the basic things that your tenant may need. Yes, you can go for interior designer if you ball in, but the rule of thumb for renovation is not to spend over 4% of your property price for an investment property, so that you can break even earlier lah. You don't need to get amazing plaster ceiling with LED lights. That's gonna cost more in the living room, and whatever design you want, it's not necessarily just the basics. The rental rate may increase a bit, but might not be worth it because it takes even longer for you to break even.
Furnishing tastefully doesn't mean that you are furnishing your own house. If you like the color maroon and you want to make the curtains, the beds, the carpet, the cabinet, the chairs all maroon, I mean, it's not wrong at all, but who are we to judge your taste, right?
It's not everybody loves love spicy.
But you have to understand that not everyone likes these designs. Your design is a niche market of tenants, but we're trying to get a pool of clients, right? So a small tip from us is to go simple. The more minimal it is, the more clean it looks, the more cozy it will be. It's also important to also understand what colors make you feel. So when it comes to light colors, it makes you feel more relaxing and elegant, where you want your tenants to feel like home.
Yep, we've seen some houses that owners renovate and decorate according to their taste, and her unit is filled with floral patterns and bright colors. Someone is kind of hectic, messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've also seen a whole pink unit just because the owner likes pink.
Yeah.
What we're trying to say here is furnish your unit according to the market.
Yep, on the other hand, if you're trying to make your unit stand out in the market by having themes, it is a very good idea as well. So you can do according to Scandinavian design, bougie, boho, or industrial, but just remember to make it clean and simple. Everybody loves this kind of because it's very generic. Yeah, don't go too niche, else you can't find any clients. In addition, when it comes to furnishing, try to include some appliances such as air conditioning, refrigerator, washing machine, stove. This will help to seal your deal way quicker.
Yeah. Next way to increase your rental rate is to basically understand your market by knowing the location demand. Is the property at the city center suitable for working people, or is it near to the beach where more expats would prefer living there, or is it near a college? All of these could affect how to increase your rental income.
Yep, you can't expect to renovate a studio unit near a college and rent it out for 2,500 and 3,000 for a student, right? Oh, spicy. It is most likely not under their budget, of course. So in this case, it would be nice if you could spend less on fancy renovation but provide basic fittings, cozy enough for a student to rent. That would be a bonus.
Yep. Another example would be expecting to have 3,000 rental just by renovating the house when you're located in an area where the rental rate is only 1,600. It doesn't actually make sense if the people in that area wouldn't be able to afford it, right?
Yep, so knowing your market would help you understand your potential tenants, which then leads to the next point, room rental.
Ta-da!
So, room rentals are also known as co-living. So what is co-living? Co-living is just simply means that in a unit you rent out each room to different tenants. If you have 4 rooms, means that you can rent out each room to different tenants. You'll be dealing with 4 tenants.
Why did we say that understanding your potential clients will lead to this point? Let's take an example of a property close to a college. The students there are looking to rent a room around 400 ringgit. But we all know that it's impossible to find a whole house at this price. But renting a room is possible.
Yep, if you have 4 rooms with 4 different tenants, which means you can possibly earn 2,000 and above by renting out the master bedroom at a higher price, then gradually go down according to the size of the room. So you can earn a couple more 100 ringgits instead of renting out the whole unit for 1,500 only.
Yeah, but another downside of room rental is it takes a lot of energy to do so. Managing one tenant is already not easy. They call you because of some leaking problems, then the next door is noisy, not to mention now you're dealing with more than one tenant, maybe 4. It'll be much worse if one tenant does not like the other tenant. Die.
Yep, here you're gonna ask yourself if you're willing to take these responsibilities. Well, some owners just don't want the hassle. They just rather rent out to a family of 5, true that they receive lesser rental income, but they have less hassle. However, there are people out there who are doing the room rental business where they rent out the unit from the owner at a certain rate. And they themselves rent out and manage the room rental business. That's where they get the profit.
An equal point that you would have to consider is the amount of people living in that particular unit. There are owners who make partitions in the unit. Let's say the unit itself has 3 rooms, but to maximize the rental, the owner will add partitions and convert the living room and the dining area into 2 more rooms. Instead of having 5 people living in that unit, now there's possibly 7 or 8 people. For instance, if the whole building is doing that, the number of people living in that building will exceed the proposed number of people that are supposed to live in that building.
In a building which consists of 300 units, right? Just a rough calculation, if the proposed number of tenants would be around 1,200 people, if there is like 7 people in one unit, that's going to be increasing until like 2,001 in a building, which It's not a good thing though.
This also means that the fire safety will be going downhill too. Then if you are also a property investor that is looking forward to sell your property in the future, this will affect your building's condition. It would be worn down and more management will be needed for the facilities, which will then decrease the capital appreciation. This all depends on you if you're there for the investment or you would be considerate enough to consider all this. Right?
Yep. Finally, the last point will be short-term rental. For short-term rentals like Airbnb, this will be depending on the property that you're investing in. If you're renting out a residential buildings, which is actually meant for living, not short-term rental investment, it is a bit risky to do short-term rentals because in these residential buildings, there are usually a management team and also a homeowners association, like a community consisting of members from the residents. If you're renting out your units as a short-term rental, this means it's often that random tenants are going up and down the units. As a result, some owners may say that's disturbing or invading their so-called living privacy.
To understand this more, let's say if you're an owner living in this high-rise building, right, where you paid $1 million to buy this property, you've worked so hard to earn this money to buy this property. Now you have a neighbor who's renting out their property for short-term rental, right? And you always see like different tenants, hearing moving things, luggage rolling often. Would you be okay with that considering you paid so much money to live in this building?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Airbnb is actually a good way to increase your rental profit. Since you're renting out that property per day, it allows you to charge a higher daily rent compared to a long-term tenancy arrangement. If you maximize the occupancy rate, you can definitely see a higher rental yield for your units. If you don't know what rental yield is, check out the video right there. But do bear in mind that Airbnb will perform according to the location as well. If you're doing Airbnb in residential area that has no tourists or is not close to a mall, it wouldn't perform as well. And also bear in mind, Airbnb only allowed in commercial buildings lah. Yeah.
On the other hand, if your property is located at the city center near to hot tourist place or even above a shopping mall or next to it, you can try this out. An interesting trend going on is Airbnbs are renovated according to these themes like we mentioned just now. You'd be surprised on how many local visitors actually live in these Airbnbs just for a weekend escape to enjoy living in a themed room.
Yep. To conclude this, there are a lot of ways to increase rental profit. It depends how creative you could make for this investment to work. Just in case if you've forgotten, we are real estate negotiators. If you have any question regarding which strategy you should use to increase your rental rates, don't hesitate to contact us at vcestate.co/contact.
We do hope that what we shared today did help you to know better on what you could play with to maximize your rental income, as property investment is a smart way to build your wealth for the future. Like any good financial investment, there are no guarantees, but one thing is certain: the more you know, the better equipped you are in making the smart choice for you.
Yep, so that's all from us today, and thank you for watching. If you gained some new knowledge from this video, do give us a like and consider subscribing as we post a lot of property, real estate content in this channel. Ring the bell and join the VC family, and we will see you in the next video. Ciao!